It's the Big Stuff Podcast. Now here's Andy and Jen, your Big Stuff hosts.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to episode 7 of Big Stuff Podcast. Jen, how do you feel about soft drinks?
I actually am not a huge fan, except for root beer. I do like an occasional root beer from time to time. Takes me back to my childhood. Why do you ask?
Well, I don't understand why you don't, because they're so soft. They're soft drinks. They're soft. It's kind of nice. Root beer. Interesting you said that, because we have a humongous root beer mug on episode number 7.
We talked to Terry Toler in LaPlace, Louisiana, and this giant root beer mug is amazing. It's covered in neon and it glows. It's actually beautiful.
And cool.
It is. So wait till you see this. Wait till you see the classic photos that Terry provided. You're going to love this episode.
Enjoy. Hey, everybody. We are here with Terry Toler. Terry Toler is the owner of a Frostop Restaurant.
Nice pronunciation.
In LaPlace. Am I pronouncing that right?
LaPlace,
Louisiana. I was down there in June, and I was driving around getting pictures of big stuff like I do. It was about 11:30 in the morning, and I pull up, and there's nobody there. And I get my camera all set up, and I'm taking these pictures of myself. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, I hear, "You want me to turn that on for you?" And I'm like, where did that come from? And all of a sudden, I look over my shoulder, and there's Terry.
Lo and behold.
She's like, "I'll turn it on for you." I'm like, well, what does it do? And she says, "Oh, it spins, and it also lights up." And I said, well, yeah, I would love that.
Yeah.
And she did. She ran inside, and she did. And then she came out. We took a couple of photos, and then we had a lovely conversation about her root beer mug.
And finally, she's joining the Big Stuff Podcast.
That was very long-winded, but
yeah.
I got my story out. But welcome, Terry. Welcome to Big Stuff. It's a pleasure to have you here. We need to find out more about your mug. You told me some great things about the history and all of that, and we need to find out more.
You like to call this your mug shot, and because she has the mug in the background, which I love.
And we're at the time of year where I get great mug shots, because with the sun going down earlier, and where it sets in this, that's where you get this shot.
Oh, gorgeous.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, gorgeous. Beautiful.
Yeah. And so I was there during the day, so I didn't get the luxury of seeing the neon all lit up like you have it in this photo behind you. It's beautiful. So tell us the history of the restaurant, because the restaurant was a chain. Am I correct?
It started in 1926 in, of all places, Springfield, Ohio. And ours was built in 1958, but the chain went away in the early 80s. So we're just left on our own now. But the mug itself actually started in New Orleans. A guy there decided that he thought that would be a good symbol for the restaurant, and so he patented the mug.
So it wasn't part of the Frostop brand?
No. He did. Well, they had the mug, but they didn't have it like that. Most of the early ones were on a roof, but there were still a few, like one in Tulane, Indiana, that just went out of business, that they didn't have a mug. So a lot of the ones in the north where it started didn't. Some went ahead and incorporated it, but some didn't.
Now, give us the specs on this for people that have not been to see you at Frostop, because the thing's big.
This one is they said 10 feet. I always thought they were 14 feet, but apparently mine was not. We measured it when it actually was on the ground next to us, but it's 10 feet.
Have you ever filled it with root beer and taken a dip in there, yeah. Terry?
No, but we're lucky it didn't fill with water for the hurricane when it was down on the ground. Well, except it fell on its side.
Okay.
So it didn't actually. The one in New Orleans that came down for Katrina actually, I think, fell upside down in the parking lot.
Ooh.
It's expensive. And Andy was telling me that you had to rebuild yours to the tune of $72,000.
Yep, $72,000. Insurance covered $30,000 because you have sign insurance, which is different. So luckily, when I redid it in 2007, I put $30,000 worth of insurance on it.
Wow.
But yep.
So
and we had donations. So when I redid the mug in 2007, it was about $20,000, and this time was about out of pocket $20,000.
Wow. So obviously this shows the value of the mug, because you didn't do that just because you like the mug, right? it draws people in, does it not?
Yes, it absolutely draws people in, but it was also like having a piece of your heart ripped out to see it like it was. But
Understandable.
I knew it would be special. People in the community needed to see something go back up like that. But yeah, without it, business wouldn't be the same. It was worth every penny we paid for it and then some.
So this really kind of goes to the heart of big stuff, as far as I'm concerned, with commercial big stuff out there. There are times when you realize that is a big part of your advertising and your marketing budget, and everything else needs to go into something like that, and it sometimes is worth the payment, right?
Most places you can't put anything back up like that, so it's gone. The things that you saw in the 50s and 60s, the big signs, can't exist anymore with regulations.
Right.
Well,
So
and
it's rare.
I would imagine too, Terry, from you being at the business for so long since you were a little girl, that you've seen families that take their kids and their grandkids now to get a picture with the root beer mug.
We love to know how many people have taken a picture with it. We see people, every day. They either, when they're coming and going eating, but a lot of times they just pull off the airline like Andy did to take a picture with it. And we see them on, whether we're open or not. I'm constantly seeing a car pull off to take a picture.
That's awesome. It's a piece of Americana, the mug.
It is.
Yeah, I love it.
Tell us a little bit about the history of your particular restaurant, because you are, correct me if I'm wrong, third generation involved with this.
Correct. My grandparents, my mom's parents, liked to go to Kenner, which is between LaPlace and New Orleans. And they had a Frostop that opened there, probably 54-ish. And my grandpa thought, well, that would do well in LaPlace. So he decided to build one here. And he did, but he didn't run it. It was simply to lease out. And so he did that for the first 15 years. And then my dad decided, I can do that. And so in 1973, he took it over, and it's been, owned and run by us ever since.
As far as the mug itself goes, we know it's 10 feet tall. Do we know do we know anything about capacity? If we were to really put root beer in it, any idea how many gallons we're talking about in there?
Oh no, I couldn't. I mean, I'd have to go back to high school and remember how to do diameter and everything to figure that out on that with the circumference of the mug times the height of that. Well,
it'd be a math problem.
I'm assuming you're going to do that for us. So go back to school and find out and get back to us.
I'm gonna have someone that's really good at math do that for you.
Do it. You can let us know always, Terry.
Yeah, now I kind of want to know the answer to that.
There you go.
Is your Frostop one of the remaining drive-in restaurants? Are you a drive-in, or are you go in and sit down?
Sort of both. We're both. We were built without the dining room, and after 4 years in 1962, they put a dining room. So I kind of hate when people refer to us as a diner. We're not. I look at us as we're a drive-in that happens to have a dining room.
Gotcha.
Yeah, we seat about 40 people, so it's not big, but we honestly do the bulk of our business to go anyway. You drive up, you either order at the window or you call in, and we have 3 windows that you walk up to. So
that's great.
I can't believe you didn't get to try any of the food.
My timing wasn't
I wanted
good.
to give you I wanted to fix him a root beer, but there was no ice in the machine, and you don't want root beer out of a machine.
No,
right? Oh no, that's really a bad taste.
So tell us about the hurricane itself that took it down. Give us the scenario. What year was this, and what was the situation?
2001, Hurricane Ida. By that morning, the day it actually hit on the anniversary of Katrina, and we actually had another hurricane on the same date in 2012. That's just, we don't like that date, August 29th. But by Sunday morning, when everything we had the place completely boarded up, and I didn't even turn around to take a picture that morning. I knew we were expecting 130 mile an hour gusts. There was no way that mug was going to stay up there. And we ended up, unfortunately, in the eye wall for 6-7 hours. It was like being in a tornado for that long. It was a very long night.
Wow.
So I got up the next morning, just before the sun comes up, but it's starting to get where you can see. There were no lights on, and my dad. I stayed with my parents, and so we came out. We live across the airline, both of our houses, to the restaurant. So made my way, and I'm like, I saw the pole and no mug. And I was like, okay, but where's the mug?
Ugh.
It had almost gone 2 parking lots away.
Wow.
Wow. Any idea how much
Yeah.
it weighed at the time, the one that was there? The original one?
It was heavy enough that we could barely like even get it to roll.
Wow.
But it also wasn't all metal anymore. We had fixed it in 2007 where the inside was still steel, but it was all aluminum. And the handle was like ductwork. So that was metal too. So that it had all started to rust again. That was the problem. It was rusting through by 2007. So this new mug is 100% aluminum.
And
Wow.
so what are some of the new additions?
So it does have a little it has a little problem in the wind.
Oh, okay.
The only new addition really is they put lights on the inside. Like if they go in there, there's LED lights inside the mug. But the old mug even had, it always has had a ladder built inside of it. But you used to go into the mug from the bottom. There was a door. They actually built the mug door into the actual mug itself. They actually have to take a piece of neon off to go into it now.
Wow.
But I think that they have the bottom so reinforced, it had to be somewhere else. I was like, that's not where that's supposed to go, because they didn't even tell me till the mug was done that that's what they had decided to do.
So Terry, who goes into the mug, like just to change the lights and stuff?
The company that did it, they come out. If the neon goes out or a transformer goes out, I mean, there's some things they can fix from the outside. But I mean, the rotation unit is at the very top of the mug that they take the ladder to go up.
Gotcha.
This company actually there's a diagram of everything and how it's wired inside. So inside we have three switches, one for neon it's really not on each side. It's kind of weird how they did it. And then the third switch is rotation. So when it's windy, like honestly today, if we were open, the rotation, I would turn it off because it'll stop on its own. A hard enough wind hits it, it stops, and I don't want to ruin the belt, so I'll just turn it off.
Huh. So obviously it's aluminum, so it's lighter.
Right, it's lighter.
But did you do anything to prepare for another hurricane? What's different about it that it might sustain? Well,
it had to meet all the engineering standards. I think up to 120 or 130 mile an hour winds. The old one, it was. The pole was much smaller, which it probably never should have been. But I'm sure in the 50s and 60s, no one thought it would still be here now, I'm sure.
Right.
But that was just how they did it. And well, the new one, it's a bigger pole and a pole goes into it. So the other one, it was 2 like little stands and it just sheared right off.
I see.
So now it goes in. That's what people are like, well, why didn't you take it down? Who was going to take that down? We had like 2 days. We literally had 2 days notice before a hurricane. And then what company is going to go and store that? They had to bring this out. They put the neon on it once they got it here. So that was a week-long process. Nobody's going to take that down.
So just root beer. You don't have your orange cream, your cream soda, just straight root beer.
No. So there's a group that has Frostop, the name now, that bottles root beer and orange cream, all of that, but that has no effect on us.
Gotcha.
So our root beer is different than it's really a confusing. Their formula, I think, is from the 1926 formula, and our formula is from like the 50s. So sort of an odd.
Could you tell the difference if you blind taste test?
Yeah, I can definitely tell the difference. Yeah.
It's like the Coke Pepsi challenge.
Right.
Remember that?
I find the root beer that we make in house is very mild. It's almost more like a cream soda.
Huh.
That it doesn't have that, the bite that a lot of root beers have.
How many other Frostops are there in Louisiana?
There's one in Baton Rouge that's an original. There's one in New Orleans that's original, us. And then there's one in Destrehan that was originally in Jefferson Parish, which is around Metairie, that moved in 2007 because their location was supposed to be made into condos, but now it's part of a hospital.
Okay.
So there are four original left.
So made into condos. Is somebody actually living in a big mug?
7 throughout the country. Well, oddly, there are people that think about how many restaurants there were and how many mugs in Louisiana or somewhere. Wow. And so one guy has one in a warehouse that he made it into a bathroom.
Oh, stop it.
Wow, awesome.
I'm like, well, I always joke when has that price tag on that mug got more and more expensive. I'm like, if things go wrong, I'm going to be living in that thing. So
It's got to be spacious in there.
It's got a light.
Oh, yeah, it does
That's
have a
true.
light.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I
You just need
actually
to make a better bed.
I saw one former mug was being featured in a St. Patrick's Day parade somewhere.
In Mississippi, yeah. The crew of broth, I think they call it. themselves.
Yes, which is awesome. So they used it as actual float in their parade.
That's amazing. Root beer float.
Oh, a root beer
Shirts
float.
from years ago.
That's
Yep.
beautiful. Root beer float. Yes,
That's
exactly.
terrific. I love it.
People love to step back in time is what we found with a lot of the big stuff. And this is why this is so special.
One thing that we, unlike a lot of places in town, don't just rely on the customers from LaPlace. We have people coming from all over the state, all over the country. So, I mean, we're bringing people in
That's
as
great.
as a tourist destination. So,
Yeah, well, and that's what our podcast is all about. It's about getting out there, finding a destination. Hopefully, a big thing is what your thing is. Get out there and see it. Can you tell us a little bit about the giant wooden alligator that's also in your town? Do you know about this?
yes. Well, we have bonfires for Christmas Eve that they light. That's supposed to be. They light the way for Papa Noel, and in our area, it used to be that they built the bonfires bigger and bigger, whoever could build the biggest. Well, that became dangerous and insurance. So
I can imagine.
Some of the ones here started to build like different things. They had I think an alligator that they built one year. They built a replica. That's the one that you see at our tourist center.
That's pretty cool.
It's a pretty good size.
It's a pretty big alligator.
So, Terry, how much neon is actually on the mug? Because it lights up beautifully.
It's a lot, I bet.
Yeah.
It's 4 different colors, and it's about 140 feet of neon that they made. And remember, they remade all of that. They have patterns now that if anything breaks, it's on their computer system. They print the pattern out and they remake it.
Well, so if you happen to be in LaPlace, Louisiana, not too far from the airport, going into New Orleans, and not too far from New Orleans itself, and I hear the food is delicious. I wish I.
Oh, I
tasted
know.
It, but I hear it's
Crawfish,
delicious, and people are coming from all over the state. So make sure you get there. Take your picture with the mug, get some great food, and say hi to Terry when she's there.
Thanks for being on today.
Well, I thank y'all for having me, and I think I love that y'all have an interest in this.
Hey, everyone. Hopefully you enjoyed this episode about the gigantic root beer mug in LaPlace, Louisiana at Frostop. I don't know if you know this, Andy, or not. Root beer has been around since the 18th century, and it actually started out with medicinal properties.
Huh.
Yeah.
You could get better by drinking soda.
You could.
Wow.
It is a soft drink. It used to be made of bark of the sassafras tree or the vine of the sarsaparilla. Now it just has those flavors. It's not really infused
I'm a
with
big
that.
fan of sarsaparilla when you can find it because it's got a little more bite to it, which is kind of nice.
Well, say sarsaparilla 10 times fast.
Sarsaparilla.
No, not right now.
Oh, okay.
In your private time. Also, we found out in West Virginia, the Frostop there seems to be the only other Frostop that has its original look
Very
than
cool.
this one that we visited with.
I've been to one other, and it was pretty cool. Older, definitely older, and had a much older look to it. And I think a little shorter, like it was lower to the ground.
Well,
But
this
still
one's
cool.
beautiful. Thank you to Terry Toler and the team for sharing these photos with us. Hopefully you love this episode. We're back in 2 weeks.
Yeah, I can't wait. Hopefully another delicious episode.
We'll see you then.
Bye.
Thanks for watching. Get all of our episodes and field reports at BigStuffPodcast.com.